Man United getting beat first game of the season to Hull. Yes, we saw it, and now it is Monday. I've given it a couple days. I do tend to like to actually do these kind of videos a couple days later once I've kind of seen the lay of the land a bit. Kind of let it settle in, let it sink in, and really decide where do I think the problems are, what do I take from it, and all the usual stuff. But we'll get straight into that stuff. Now, what I will say is signs of this were happening last season. We were just kind of riding the wave a little bit and in a week-to-week rhythm and motion as well, and we didn't have a break and all that stuff as well. Now, you can see it. This wasn't perfect last season, even though the results were actually pretty strong. I think we picked up more points since Carrick taking over than any other club, but that is no Europe. That is end of the season with no Europe as well and all that stuff. And again, it was like a new manager bounce and a flow. I was never Carrick in. I didn't want Carrick first choice. I would have taken Carrick over the likes of whether it is Glasner or maybe someone from abroad as well, purely because the fact I thought he's not proven at Man United, whereas Carrick, at least we've got like an 18 game pool to take from. Now, with that being said, I'm not Carrick out. I'm not going to be Carrick out. I wasn't Amorim out. I wasn't Ten Hag out. I don't really do manager out. I think you stay with your manager and work through the issues. At least when you get to see the issues, you can work on how to improve them. If that's just continuous, then obviously we look into it there. But all the boring stuff done, what went wrong? What went right would probably be an easier way to start, but what went wrong? You can see Luke Shaw's laziness to kind of overlap. It's half-hearted. It's effortless in the wrong way. There's no energy to it. There's no like aggression. Like Luke Shaw used to bomb on, touch, bam, drive people to the byline, aggressive balls into the box. Even the crosses into the box, they're just floaty. They're easy. It's going through the motions. It's training. It's pre-season, and that's the way it felt. It felt like we turned up for a pre-season game, but they turned up for a Champions League final. The intensity was never there. We got bullied. Tielemans and Santos in the middle, they looked a little bit lost, a bit slow, sloppy. I get a lot of people, whether it is Tielemans who got injured in the World Cup, Matt Mainey who ended in a World Cup needing injury as well, and he's only just coming back. Bruno's just slowly coming back into the fold. All these people that I guess you can say are only just coming back. Yes, we have that half excuse, but they wanted it more. It wasn't down to, oh, you just seen a little bit of sharpness. They were to everything. They were first to every ball. We turn up for a pre-season match. That was the biggest problem. And how do you fix it going forward? Well, Balaba's going to eventually get added into that midfield, and I think the squad fitness will naturally go up. Balaba was so needed the other day because he's energy, legs. He's someone who's going to get stuck in, fight, and dive around. I've said before, I'm a big fan of the Balaba deal. He was who I said actually was in my first three that I wanted us to sign. I wanted us to sign 3 midfielders, and I would have put him in there no matter who you partner the other 2 with as well. I think he is so key because in a time of where everyone's great on the ball, he is good on the ball, and he can be great on the ball. But last season he wasn't great on the ball like he was the season before, but he was still good on the ball. He wasn't awful like people are pretending. When you drop your level, if you perform at 7 and an 8 out of 10 and you drop it down to a 5 and a 6 some weeks and stuff as well, you look horrific when in reality you're just kind of a bit more average. But I digress into all that as well. Now, Burma, I thought was our lively one. I thought he was the one I probably thought something's going to come from him maybe, and he didn't look particularly great. Not being able to turn to Ahmad at times maybe be a slight problem, even though I would accept a deal for Ahmad, to be honest, if someone came in with a nice big chunk of money and I'd reinvest that into the squad. Cunha looked a little bit lost playing as like a striker at times. I feel like Bruno wasn't really running past him when he dropped in, where I think that's the only way that's going to work. Bruno himself looked very sloppy. Thought Rashford looked quite sharp when he came on, actually. I thought he looked like he wanted something to happen. But I think I saw Mark Goldberry saying, we so naturally with Rashford when he's on the pitch, just constantly keep feeding him the ball. And that's purely because I feel like the players know something's going to happen from him, but nothing else around him felt like it was working. Nothing else was opening up. If I have to see a Rashford Luke Shaw overlap one more time, I think I'm going to lose it. I didn't realise I can't stand it. And Rashford offside all the time. Oh! Now, that takes me to the other problem, Dorgu. Now, Dorgu had a little good run. He scored against Arsenal, scored against Thingy, whatever it was, and yeah, he had a little run, whatever, cool. Dorgu is not the player that we should be starting at this point. Not straight off a pre-season, not off all that. Dorgu is not that player. Dorgu adds something to this squad. Yes. Dorgu can be important in this squad. Yes. I am not his single biggest fan. He is not a fullback. He is a winger. And I think looking at him, I'm not overly convinced on him right now, especially not at a starting point. I thought, to be honest, as hard as it is, Rashford should probably start ahead of him. People don't like it, or start Sesko and then switch it up, or do something different. I know, again, Sesko's another one, come back from injury, and I am ranting and I am annoyed, but we have to bounce back against Ipswich. That is one thing we all agree on. We may not agree on certain little details, who should play here, who should play there. We should beat Ipswich. Now, what changes would I make? Well, looking at the back line, I would definitely bring Martinez in. Even as much as I want Heaven to play this season and I want him to get game times as well, I would bring Martinez in. Now, I'm not against bringing Martinez into midfield. Until Belabe is here, someone with a little bit of energy, intensity, aggression, someone who's going to get the ball, plays quick, punchy passes, actually has a really good passing range himself anyway, but quick passes, bam, 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 we can work from there as well. And maybe go Martinez and Tielemans in midfield with Bruno just in front, and kind of really try to dictate the game with three different kind of midfielders there doing different things, all with the ability to find the ball over the top or out wide to keep the play moving. So I'm not against that, but if not, he should go into the back line with Maguire, and then I'll bring Dalot on instead of Mazraoui. I am so fed up with this Mazraoui love. I get it. He is okay. And he probably plays a lot better for Morocco than he does for us, but there's a reason that he just didn't ever click at Bayern Munich. As much as I'm going to say that, that's the same with De Ligt in a way, but De Ligt played a lot more. I want De Ligt back as well. It will be De Ligt and Martinez my starting two, but for now, Maguire, Martinez, obviously we keep Lamens in goal. Nothing he could really do. He did very well on the first goal and just got let down by, again, to be fair, Maguire marking. Marking Mazraoui, funnily enough, pair of them. But yeah, I would obviously have to go with Luke Shaw. At this point, I'm tempted just to throw Amas in and just see how he does. But yeah, whether we go Martinez, Maguire, Dalot, Shaw, and go there. And then obviously midfield will likely be Santos. And to be honest, I wouldn't be against starting with Mainu and Tielemans. People talk about the legs factor, but we didn't have legs last season. We had Mainu, the same guy we're saying has got no legs, and Casemiro, who we're replacing, had no legs. So what does it matter? And we're at home to Ipswich, where we should really be doing what Arsenal did to Coventry. We should be setting pace on them early doors and letting them know, and we should be walking like that with a 3-0 win. That's just standard. That's what we should do. They got their win first game of the season, and now they're turning up, maybe looking for whatever they can get, and they're going to be patient. They're not going to be desperate, and that's where we need to break them down. So maybe Mainu, but he has to start for me, Mainu, and then Santos or Tielemans next to him. I'm not bothered which of the two right now as well. Bruno will obviously be in front, and then obviously going to go Mbumo for me, Cunha on the left, and then go Sesko up top. And then you got the likes of Rashford. Ahmad supposedly comes back. Shea Lacey you can bring on to kind of add to that attack. You've got Xerxes as well, but whether you take what you take from that, what Xerxes you're going to get. But if Sesko can't play, I would play Xerxes and just see what happens right now. At least you put him on the shop window. But yeah, that's my rant. That's me talking about it. There's a lot of things that can go right. There's a lot of things that have gone wrong. It's a long way to go. This is one game out of 38. We've got 37 more games to go. I'm not going to give you the math at the top of my head. 111, yes I am. More points to play for. Yeah, 111 more points to play for. So much more to play. We've got loads of time. We can still have success, but we need to hit the ground running from now at Ipswich. Set pace in Ipswich and on to Everton. Next two games, if we get wins, we're laughing. What would you change? What do you think went wrong? Don't tell me your Carrick out yet, but what are you looking for now? Before the end of the window, in my opinion, Mateta and Hall, if we sign them two, we are laughing, and I think our squad gets so much better. I doubt it for probably one of them, but I reckon we'll land Mateta, and I reckon we'll get a left back. For me, I think he'll be the guy from Spain, but I would go for David Rom if we can't go get Lewis Hall, someone aggressive, fast. I'm going to whip that ball in with some intensity and aggression. But that's it from me. All the usual. Like, comment, subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.